Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nirmal. I'm Hiral Datia. We have with us Kunal, Shah, Head of Research, Commodities, joining in as well. Kunal, my first question coming to you. Let's not start with crude today. Would want to talk about bullion, where gold prices are seeing some bit of profit booking. But in consonance to that, if you see in terms of what's happening with silver, we are seeing some steady increase.
Okay, now to your core question, the silver has started to move up, but the gold is not moving up. So gold and silver chart, the ratio never exceeded, the average always lied at 70-75. Now that ratio has gone to the level of 120. So what does it mean? That silver is never been so cheap as compared to gold. When you compare, do the SWOT analysis, the silver is, the gold prices are still expensive, but silver is still not expensive. So that's why there is some catching up going on right now. The reason for the same is silver was not brought by central bankers, and that's the reason why silver underperformed. Gold was massively bought by the central bankers in last 2 years. 1,400 tons have been bought by central banks when it comes to gold, but not a single ton of silver was bought by central banks. So that's why silver is relatively cheaper as compared to gold right now. So yes, silver can outperform gold for some bit of time, and I'm expecting that this outperformance may continue going forward. But gold, for the time being, doesn't look good to me. I'm not very bullish in near term. My long term view is very bullish, like I've been stating. But I believe, looking at the current environment, now the lockdown, Germany has declared that they are going to open the lockdown. Uh, Yesterday, Trump made a statement. Even if there is a second wave of coronavirus, it's okay. But people will have to open up the economy. So now Europe and US, two large economy, are talking about opening up their economy. And second, apart from them, China, which is back to normal. So just to share with you all perspective, I spoke to somebody who's staying in Wuhan today, and I came to know that everything is back to normal. So the crowd is very less. So for example, if there are any tourist spot, so they are now, the government has made mandatory that it should be occupied with the 30% capacity. But people are traveling, they are wearing masks, they are wearing gloves. So things are, people have started to live with this crisis. And in China, the economy is started to open up, and the activity is started to picking up. So I believe that all this thing will lead to some bit of profit taking in gold. Because if you see everyone, if you I was in last 10 days, I was just reading a lot of report from Bloomberg. I never came across any report saying that gold is going to go down. So suddenly everyone is bullish right now in gold. So the consensus view right now is very bullish. So it doesn't mean that gold will not move up, but it means that for the time being, we have to be little cautious. And another thing, the central banks will not buy gold right now, because all the economies are in problem. So जो central bank से जो buying आ रही थी, that buying will not come uh, aggressively. So I think gold ऊपर में 45,800 900 sell. स्टॉप लॉस जैसे ट्रेडिंग के लिए मैं हमेशा बोल रहा हूँ 46,050 का स्टॉप लॉस, 45,500 45,400 के levels you will see in evening or tomorrow's session. So I'm not at all bullish for the near term, against the contra view, against the general view. And I'm also that central banks will are not going to buy gold right now. So that will lead to profit taking. And retail, anyway, retail demand is very weak, the prices are high, and lockdown is continuing. So abhi to people will sell gold. So if somebody is having crisis, somebody lost job, somebody is not having income, so store of value is gold. So if I bought gold at 25,000, I will not try to buy it 50,000. I will try to book my profit, or I will sell it for my daily use. So that is what the lower middle class people are going to do going forward. So gold
So
definitely.
Kunal, is it right to say that gold would witness choppy trade with the kind of mixed factors that we have been pointing out to, and probably for traders, buy on dips should be the recommended strategy amid the persisting worries?
No, for the traders, it's a sell and rise strategy for gold
Okay.
for the time being. For the investor, they can accumulate when it starts going down. But for the traders, it is against the view. If I you will say, Kunal, you yourself was very bullish on gold, and suddenly why you are saying to sell? So I'm saying because I'm expecting not to immediately. It is not going to move up. It is up by 17% from the start of the year. Last year it was up by 24%. So I'm not expecting firecrackers immediately to take place. So my long-term view is bullish, but I'm thinking that with the strict stop loss, one should sell gold. And in this kind of environment, I request all everyone who has joined this webinar, please trade with a stop loss. Even my view can go wrong. So put a strict stop loss of 46,050 and remain short.
Right. And Kunal, one more question on gold is uh, we have world's biggest refineries, two of the biggest, in fact, Valcampi as well as Arbor. They've restored almost all their operations after Switzerland actually went ahead and relaxed the lockdown measures after a gap of almost, I think, 6 to 7 weeks. Do you think that is something also which could be having an impact in terms of prices?
Uh, yes, but I think the major factor right now is the India's gold import number which came yesterday. So India's gold import went down by 99%.
Correct.
So we are not importing anything because of the lockdown. And even in the month of May, I'm not expecting that numbers to shoot up. So on one hand, we are not importing gold. So whatever gold required by the jewelers, that requirement has to be met. Either they have to take the delivery from the exchange or the scrap gold. So if people are coming to sell gold, so I think in this kind of scenario, significant upside is relatively, the scope of that is relatively less.
Okay. And what would your strategy be, especially in terms of silver? Because as you already gave us, I mean, what should a trader do today if the trader wants to buy silver at this current point in time?
Well, the metals look relatively better. So even silver prices can go up. But my view is that if gold is going down, then silver will not suddenly outperform. So gold is down by 2% and silver is up by 2%. That's not going to happen. So I'm not recommending to go long right now. I'm recommending to wait, decline. You can buy silver at decline rather than mark. So if it goes down by 400, 500 rupees from the present level, at that time I would initiate a buy call on silver. I will not buy at market.
Okay. So that's with regards to where bullion goes. Now, coming back to what we've always been discussing lately has been with what's happening with crude. It is the month of May. We've already crossed around 5 to 6 days in the month. In terms of where production cut goes, where do we stand? And is that something which is supporting crude prices?
So I had been telling 1.5 week, 2 weeks back that it will take 15 to 20 days for oil market to stabilize. So now from the 1st May, the OPEC production cut has started. So what I explained everyone who is listening to our webinar, that oil market was in a surplus of 25 million barrels per day. Now, out of the 25 million barrels, 10 million barrels has been production cut by OPEC, mainly Saudi and Russia led. 1.5 million barrel production is dropped from US. So that comes to 11.5. And now with the lockdown going to get relaxed, 4 to 5 million barrels of demand is going to come. So 11.5 plus another 4 to 5 million barrels, that will come to 15 to 16 million barrels. So suddenly from the surplus of 25 million barrels on an average in the month of April, we are now at the surplus of 10 million barrels. So suddenly that surplus of 15 million barrels is out of the market. So I explained that whenever this kind of huge gap is there between near month and far month. So if you look at what happened between May contract and June contract, now that spread, which was earlier 500, 600 rupees, it is just 150 to 200 rupees. So June contract was anytime buy. Like I said, I had given target of 2200, 2300, but unfortunately at that time people could not buy because we had our own restrictions, and in the interest of the client, in order to manage the risk of the client, the crude oil contract trading we have stopped. But I think it is going to go up further, and relaxing of the lockdown is the major trigger for that. So June contract 2200 are the levels what I am expecting. Tonight there is a crude oil inventory. I don't know what is going to be the inventory. So at that time, if already prices are near 2180 to 2200, book your profit for that moment. See what the inventory is. We will issue a call, and after that you can trade on it.
Okay. And Kunal, if you have to look at base metals as well right now, with the US-China trade war taking picking up steam, what's the sense that you have in terms of base metals right now?
Yeah, so base metal, it's like very confused because of the very simple reason that I don't know what the Trump is going to do, whether he's going to escalate the trade war or whether he is not going to. So China is being very adamant in terms of they are not allowing anyone to check what happened in Yuan. They are not allowing international scientists to see what happened, what's happening in Wuhan lab, whether that virus is self-made or whether it is. So China has closed and clearly said no for the investigation. So I don't know how US is going to retaliate, but it seems that markets are in a risk on mode because markets are cheering that the lockdown is going to get relaxed. Germany already announced, US is on the verge of announcing end of lockdown. So may move up a bit more. So I'm expecting copper to test levels of 407, 408, zinc to test levels of 154 to 155. And these two metals look relatively better. Nickel is already up, so I will not recommend you aggressively to buy. But 920 around nickel, also you can buy and you can wait for the target of 940. But don't buy it. Market it's already up by 1%. So copper and zinc relatively looks better to me.
Copper and zinc relatively looks better in terms of where base metals go. Kunal, we have queries that have started to flow in. In fact, everyone who is a participant on this webinar, please feel free to send in your queries right now. Kunal is right here to answer them. The first one is coming in saying, can we hedge the position of gold and silver? Like gold, silver, like sell gold and buy silver? And can we expect some more pullback in nickel from current market price?
See, basically, for gold. Yes, silver and gold ratio is not sustainable. So if you buy silver and sell gold with this of the same value, so you cannot do it one lot of gold and one lot of silver. So when you are selling 10 lakh worth of gold, you can buy 10 lakh worth of silver, but in a long run, you are likely to get more benefit. But I'm not expecting that that ratio will come down to 75, maximum 105 to 100. That is what I'm expecting right now, because like I said, the value, if I'm an investor and if I want to hedge myself from all this uncertainty in the market, I'm going to buy gold ETF more than silver ETF. So hence the value of gold is higher in such environment. So maximum 105 to 100, if that level comes, you can book your profit and you can hold. And as far as the other question is concerned, natural gas, if crude oil price is the see natural gas already shot up because of the weather forecast. The weather forecast for next week is expected to be much cooler than what it was last week, and that is what basically driving the natural gas prices. So I'm not expecting more correction. Tomorrow will be the inventory, but I am expecting around 154 to 152 good levels to go along. Around 164, 65, you can book your profit.
Right. So I hope those queries are answered. Any more queries? We are still here. You can send in on the chat right now on the Q&A section, and we'll be happy to answer. But I hope the query with regards to hedging the position of gold and silver is answered, as well as with regards to the outlook for nickel so far. Kunal, I don't think there are any further queries as of now. I think everything that has been a question so far has been answered. I think you've cleared everyone's doubts. Absolutely. But we will be back right, at the same time tomorrow as well. So you can keep your questions ready before we start the webinar, and we will give you the strategies as well. Thank you, Kunal, for joining in. Thank you thank you to the panelists as well for being a part of this webinar. In fact, you could even subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, as well as Facebook. Thank you very much.